Good morning, this is Jack from Charting Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 15th of July. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it. I'm transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, going a little higher this morning. I would like it to go just a little higher, not on SPX or NQ or RTY specifically. I'd like it to go higher on YM because this looks an awful lot like a bull flag forming on the YM chart, and if we could see a retest of this high here, we can get daily sell signals brewing on Dia, which is the only one of the four index charts I follow where we haven't got basically both RSI 5 and RSI 14 divergence because it hasn't retested this high. Now I've got to say, I've been building up a whole a chart database for another project, and on that so I've been posting a number of them as the charts of the days, but we have an awful lot of charts which are suggesting that we are about to see a big retracement soon. And actually, I'll just show you this morning's one which I'm using as my chart of the day. And that is the NVIDIA chart. And all right, amazing run since obviously the low in April. Nice looking rising wedge here. And this is our possible daily RSI 14 sell signal brewing, and it's nice possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. This is really setting up for a retracement, and a decent one. I know you're wondering, could this be a double top from here? No, because the target would be almost zero, so it can't be a double top. So this is actually almost double since the April low, but overdue for a retracement, and it looks very much as though the retracement will be soon. I'm expecting to see a retracement on pretty much everything soon after a topping process. Part of that topping process, what I would like to see is YM retest this high. And that would round off the negative divergence on the daily charts very nicely. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but I've got to say, this flaggy looking setup here, it's very encouraging. So we shall see. All right, in the short term, we've got possible weak RSI 5 possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing on ES and NQ. We haven't got one on RTY quite. We've got nice looking potential topping patterns on all of these, less so on YM because of course it hasn't retested this high. DAX and STX, we didn't quite get positive divergence. I was thinking we might well on this low here, but I am wondering about a possible retest of the highs here too. We will see how those goes. They've got pretty close to a test of the monthly pivots, and the monthly pivots are kind of key on what we're looking at here. It's quite a distance away on ES and NQ, but not that far away. Well, no, quite a fair on RTY as well, but we're closer on YM, and when we seriously start getting going to the downside, I'll be watching the monthly pivots carefully and break and convert those, and we could see a fair amount more downside. Now, looking at the bigger picture charts, what I'll be looking for as well is, of course, we've got this rising wedge from the April low, and really what I'm looking for is we've got a little double top here, but I'll be looking for larger topping patterns to develop. So I've drawn in a couple of possible necklines here. We've got obviously small topping patterns here at the moment, but depending on how things go, I'm reckoning that we get topping patterns forming into the 1st of August, and really the risk is all to the downside here. I don't think there's much risk remaining to the upside. And actually, on this little options project I've worked for, which I'm working up all these charts for, I'm going to be entering a couple of shorts for model trades at Matt's time. And one of them will probably be on NVIDIA. In fact, I'll probably enter about 4 or 5, where we've got the nicest setups. Okay, looking at the Qs, we broke slightly below the wedge support here. Very nice negative divergence on the daily. Dia, of course, we haven't got negative divergence on the daily yet. And this kind of looks like a flag or a triangle here too. I would love to see a retest of this high. We might need to go a little lower before we do that. But I'm thinking we've got decent odds of doing that. In the short term, we've still got the early RSI 14 sell signals fixed on Dia, on Qs, and on SPX, of course. Okay, sorry, that wasn't the right one. This is the right one. And I'm expecting probably this week for those to play out. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on IWM. Oh, sorry, I thought I'd opened those earlier, but actually I haven't, so let's open them now. Ready? All right, looking at the wedge here again. It's not quite as nice. The ones on Dire aren't as nice as the ones on Dire and IWM aren't as nice as the ones on SPX and the Qs, but they're still okay. We're further away from the rising support on the Dire and IWM though. Hourly chart, no current negative divergence because because we went too low here really. So otherwise we'd have a sell signal fixed there too. I'm not liking this IHS so much. I really like this, but I think with tariffs back in a big way and everything looking very, very toppy, then I'm thinking this may well not make target. Having said that, obviously tariffs are coming back in a big way at the moment, but if tariffs are largely settled, abandoned, or head down, or are settled at relatively low levels, if tariffs are abandoned as basically an increasing and major tool, then we could go higher, but they would need to be. And I'm skeptical about Trump delaying for so long this time because I think he's probably pretty miffed about the whole taco thing. But we will see. I could be mistaken. In the short term, though, I think we're going to start forming topping patterns, and then we will see how that develops. But my lean is he probably won't cave this time. Not in a big way. And one of my concern is he's been saying that Europe is the main enemy, and Europe is, the European Union was founded to screw over the US, etc. I do think he may be thinking about having a major confrontation with the EU. They're the US's biggest trading partner, and I think that could cause a lot of trouble. All right, looking at DAX, very nice looking double top here, still holding above the daily middle band. So no breaks so far, but I'm wondering about it. Okay, I'm not expecting to see a test of the 42.4 high soon. We might see one later, testing the daily middle band at the moment. Quite like to see a retest of this high, and we are holding up so far on the market. So I have a little wish list of other things I'd like to be hit. This is one of them. I'd like to see this 40.9 retested, and obviously Dire is the bigger picture on that. I'd really, really like to see that retested. It's so we shall see. Okay, let's have a look at DX. DAX and ESTX, ideally see retest the high. I'd quite like to see the full retest of this high on ESTX as well. DX, this is actually now testing this declining resistance, which I've been looking at as a potential target. We would need to break over it to make this IHS target. But I think this is looking more like a bear flag at the moment. So I'm leaning towards that, seeing a breakdown. Nice bull flags on on GBP and the Euro. And again, I'm watching those carefully. ZB, we've got a very nice looking head and shoulders here, and we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, but we've gone almost nowhere, and we've almost made the possible near miss target on it. This head and shoulders has broken down, and at the moment, I was thinking if we had a big rally here and got close to this right shoulder high, then maybe this was going to fail back into a retest of this high. But at the moment, we're not seeing any sign of that. We've seen a back test of the weekly pivot. We're almost at the buy signal target. I'm leaning towards the downside here. I think this is the logical way to go, and I think there's every reason to think it's going to go that way. On the end, if we've got a bear flag here, it's starting to break down. Although I would note we've got a nice looking little level bottom here. This could fail back up into another retest of the high. Looking at on CL. CL, I've got an overall rising support trend line I'm watching here. But we've also got a shorter term, what looks like a bear flag forming, and well, it certainly got my attention. So is that going to break down and give us a retest of this low potentially, or at least give us a touch of this trend line? I think very possibly. Overall, I'm still leaning towards the downside here on the pattern seller. HO, we had a sell signal, they made target, and we broke down below this wedge support. This could well be topping out for, again, a move down. RBOB, nice looking rising megaphone here, and that too is starting to break down. We've got a very nice looking double top. Again, the pattern setup is leaning down. NG, is this an IHS forming? Not yet, no. We went beyond this trend line here and this possible neckline, and it could be that we're forming a right shoulder here, but I'm more looking towards this other IHS neckline, possible IHS neckline, which is in the in the 3.57 area. No current negative divergence on GC. I've been mulling this over because the thing is, SI basically went up to my target area. Palladium, we got a 6-minute sell signal, although that's now reached the possible near miss target, and the SI1 has as well. Platinum, this could be a larger double top. I don't know. This kind of looks like it's not a good bear flag wedge, but it's not bad. I'm wondering whether this might need to take us back into a retest this low here in the 3250 area. Honestly, this has taken so long retesting the high, that would be kind of a bore, and I'd like it to go up. But actually, the pattern's still up. I'm wondering about it. We shall see. HG is consolidating. Obviously, 50% tariffs are going on copper, and this was the immediate reaction as people bought copper in front of the tariffs. We'll see how that develops, but I'm liking the downside after tariffs are applied. If they continue, I mean, I don't know, the ostensible target of the tariffs is to increase copper production in the US. That might create a few jobs, but my suspicion is that it's going to raise costs significantly on the myriad of US manufacturers who use copper, and there are a lot of those. And it's going to make them less competitive worldwide with, of course, other nations which don't have 50% tariffs on copper. I'm just thinking this would be likely to lose so many more jobs than it could possibly create. I'm wondering if this is actually going to stay the course. But we have seen the tariffs on steel at 50%, tariffs on aluminium at 50%, and they've been held. Copper has been added, and that might well stick too. I just think it's kind of stupid. KC, even more so than most of the tariffs. All right, KC, this kind of looks like a bear flag forming. And I'm wondering about a retest of the low. No obvious reversal pattern here at the moment. SB, we got up to the monthly pivot and we got a double top there. I'm thinking this may reverse back down. The target would not be the lows, but it'd be back into about 1570, 75 area. That might give us a retest of the lows. On CC, this looks like bearish consolidation for a retest of this low, which is obviously not far below. On CT, what I'm watching here is to see whether the right shoulder high on this head and shoulders is going to break. And it hasn't broken yet, but that's where it is. It's really thinking about it. If it does break, I'd be looking really for a rejection back up to this high in the 69.75 area. Lumber is getting pretty close to double top support. I really like this double top, and I'm thinking it's likely to break down. ZW is heading back into the lows at the moment. Obviously, I was talking yesterday about the possibility of bigger picture downside retests on all of the grains. Corn, this kind of was a double top-ish, double bottom-ish, but not a very nice one. We had a buy signal. It's reached a possible near-miss target, failing at the weekly pivot so far. This might still be bottoming out, but I'm thinking the obvious next target would be a retest of this low here in the 407 area. On soy, possible bottoming action. 6-minute buy signal that's fixed. Hasn't reached the possible near-miss target yet. Soybean oil kind of looks like a bull flag that might be breaking up, but it's not a particularly clear setup. Live cattle heading back down towards the double top support. I quite like this, at least into a test of the monthly pivot at 213.88. And on lean hogs, we've now made the double top target, head and shoulder target, and this looks like a bull flag that has formed. I'm thinking we might see a rejection back up into the high. All right, let's have a look at questions. All right, no questions today. Okay, we're still at highs. There's scope for a bit more upside. I think we're going to see a retracement starting soon. I still have got a couple of upside targets I would like to see hit, particularly the Dia retest. That would give us some really nice daily negative divergence on Dia, which is the only one which hasn't got it yet. Do we have to do those? No. Do we have an awful lot of charts suggesting that we're going to see a significant retracement pretty damn soon? Yes, we do. And it could be that we're going to do it without making that target, but I am encouraged by the way this is holding up to think that YM and Dia might do that, and these do look like bull flags on YM and Dia. So I'm liking those until demonstrated otherwise. Do I think S&P will hit 7,000 in time? Definitely. Now? No, I don't think it's really. It's beyond the targets I was talking about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was really talking about the 65, 6600 area, and that I thought was doable. And that potentially is still doable, but to be honest, I think we're under the gun now with tariffs. I think if we see a retracement, if the tariff wars are pulled back, yeah, maybe we would look at those targets that I was looking at. But I think we would need more time to get to 7,000. I'd be thinking into next year. But yeah, potentially. But I think if we go full on the tariff wars, then I think we might be getting to 3,500 first. At which point we'd probably be looking at a decent looking buy. But we will see how that goes. But in the short term, no, I don't think. I think we're going to see at least a substantial retracement first. We could see higher highs after that, but the highest I was really looking at 65, 6,600. I wouldn't be looking any higher than that. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap, guys. I will catch everyone tomorrow morning. Take care.